From the death of Big Dill, secrets hidden in the Mortal Kombat POIs, and even a map change that confirms the theme of Chapter 6 Season 3, here's every secret detail that you miss in Fortnite's Mortal Kombat update. And one of the first things hardcore Mortal Kombat fans will spot with the Scorpion Mythic is that it secretly changes your skin when you use it. If you wear the Scorpion outfit when using the Mythic and perform the Fire Breath attack, the skin will switch to Scorpion skeleton style for a moment before returning back to normal, a reference to the animation from the games. But out of all the ways to be eliminated with the Mortal Kombat items, there's by far the worst one hidden in the underground POI, called the Dead Pool. There's a huge pool of acid that can actually eliminate players who fall in it, similar to how volcanic lava worked in Chapter 1 Season 8. But someone else that's been eliminated is this season's iconic character, Big Dill. Let me explain, because if you go to the pit location, you're easily going to spot a lot of spikes on the ground, but take a closer look and you'll realize that there's actually a couple pickles that have already been impaled by these. And looking at some of these, they're most likely Big Dill's family and maybe even himself, which is just dark even for Epic. But something else that's very epic is a much requested change that's finally happened. One of the main issues with Fortnite OG were inconsistent weapon icons, and in the recent update, the tactical shotgun and many other items finally got their OG icons. And the same goes for the hand cannon, which now uses both the old one and the model. And we know OG Season 3 is special because it's this season where we got the first look into what live events are going to be, and with new teasers, it looks like they're coming back. If you take a close look at the trailer for Season 3, you're instantly going to spot some clips of the meteor shower event, which is confirmed to be returning. Not only that, but at the end of the trailer, you can also see a comet ready to crash down on Dusty Depot. And with some leaks, it's implied that this time around, we're actually going to have an in-game event where the comet crashes down into the island and creates Dusty Divot. So keep an eye on the skies. And speaking of the skies, there's a hidden Easter egg related to the comet in the skies that only true OGs remember, and now it's back, but a little bit different. When the meteor first appeared, it had a special audio that played, and when you put it into a spectrogram, it would showcase a skin doing Take the L. And now, with it back in game, it does the same exact thing, except showcases a skin doing the Savor the W emote. A really neat change if you ask me. And a secret change not a lot of people notice is something missing at Lucky Landing. Competitive fans will remember that at one point near the central cherry blossom tree at Lucky Landing, there was the iconic Booga trophy from the first ever World Cup, which is now not there anymore. This should be coming back later in Fortnite OG in Season 9. But now you can revisit this iconic location with Booga and his skin himself, who later will get the trophy. And the references don't stop there though, as with every OG season, we get a key art that's secretly a reference to a past loading screen, and this one is no exception. The newest key art for Fortnite OG Season 3 shows the Sir Raven skin holding an RPG with multiple explosions in the back. If it's kind of familiar to you, that's because it should be, because you might remember the original key art from the High Explosives LTM, which has the exact same vibe going on. And another loading screen with a very crazy secret was added as well. However, it's also a nod to both OGs and a beloved movie franchise. In OG Fortnite Season 3, you may remember this infamous Rex loading screen that referenced a scene from the movie Jurassic World. But now, 8 years later, Epic gave us another version of this loading screen with the new Rex reskin, yet again referencing the same exact scene. And speaking of different reskins, a skin nobody expected just got its first rehash after several years and almost no one noticed. The Toxic Fusion outfit might not look instantly familiar, but notice the details on it and you'll realize it's the first ever remix of the Fusion skin from the Chapter 2 Season 1 Battle Pass. Something fans wanted to see all the way back when we got Fortnite remixes past, but at very last we finally got one. And someone else getting teased in game right now is a secret that many may dismiss at their first glance. Hidden on the island at a small disco, you can find this microphone and a guitar. Those aren't too random because dedicated fans will know that they both tease the next Fortnite festival artist, which is none other than Sabrina Carpenter. She's going to be coming to the game with two iconic songs being Taste and Please Please Please, which are going to be emotes too. And we already know her skin's color scheme from this festival screenshot. But what everyone's overlooking is hints to next season, and the biggest one was literally in front of our eyes this whole time, foreshadowing what next season's theme is going to be. In recent storyline quests, we were required to search a container, which used the exact same models as the containers from the Star Wars update. This made a lot of little theories going around that Season 3 might be Star Wars themed, and now it's confirmed. There's going to be multiple bosses, mythics, and location, and of course lots of iconic references. But speaking of references, dedicated fans of Chapter 2 Season 2 surely will have noticed a new subtle reference with the Outlaw Midas outfit. Aside from his outlaw style, he also ended up getting another one, which is a reference to none other than his ghost style from the original Midas skin. And speaking of outlaws, while traversing the new island, you might have come across a newly added spot just outside of Outlaw Oasis. That's right, near the POI now stands a remote mine, and when you're going inside, you can find a server farm dedicated to the Dilbit currency. I guess if these are destroyed, the island's economy is finished. But something Epic went ahead and added, however, was a strange yet iconic reference related to Mortal Kombat. When you got a kill with Subzero's combat kit, a small PNG of a person would appear in the corner of your screen. This is shockingly a nod to Mortal Kombat 3, where when performing a specific move, the iconic image of the game's sound designer would briefly appear and he would shout "Toasty." eclipses. And another Easter egg many didn't notice can be found in the locker, because with the return of Renegade and Aerial Assault Trooper, their locker icons were changed, one that didn't sit right with many Fortnite players. So now when you take a look, it seems that they've changed this back to their originals. And that's not the only instance where Fortnite heard the community out, because they made another long requested change. There was the Smitten emote, where many people disliked it upon its addition and thought it was too short. And it looks like in the new update, Epic heard us and made the emote a little bit longer, including the rest of the song's chorus. Speaking of emotes though, Fortnite also teased us with a Not Like Us emote, because this brand new Kendrick Lamar emote shares the same icon as the pose from his music video, but in reality it's actually just a different dance, but it's still a nice callback to the artist. And not nearly as cool as that is the new wave of Invincible cosmetics, featuring the new duplicate skin, which has more than one secret. At first glance it looks normal, but hardcore fans of the show have already spotted something interesting. The number on her chest is 1 and not 0, meaning this is not the original duplicate like the show, but rather one of her clones. You can also change the number, but take a look at her back bling and you realize it actually features another character, Shrinking Ray. This could be teasing another wave of skins in the future, but Alan the Alien is another skin which was added, and his back bling is also an amazing reference to the show. His location says Fortnite and shows the chapter 6 map with its description being "How did I get here?" This references the scene from Invincible where Alan mistakes the planet Earth for another planet he was meant to visit called Urath. So well played, Epic, with the references. And inside the black markets, they've now added these hidden rooms which hold even more mythics. Epic wants us to get these through a community event, and when unlocked, they'll get you access to Midas's drum gun, Brutus's minigun, and even all new exotics like the Stink hunting rifle, all of which have models that are callbacks to the Most Wanted mini event. But something else heating up is a brand new beef between two characters on the island, referencing an Easter egg from 3 years ago. Everyone knows the up-and-coming artist Big Dill, who's arrived on the island this season, but it looks like he has a new and unexpected opponent. If you talk to his NPC as Lil Whip, he'll criticize your rap flow, a callback to Fortnite vibin' when Lil Whip tried to become a musician and create a rap EP by borrowing a lot of bars from the Underwriter. And then he all of a sudden vanished, which is a neat callback. And then another new character introduced this season is Fletcher Kane, whose mansion is full of secret details that many haven't noticed. The most obvious one is the dog park near his mansion, creating a safe space for everyone on the island to walk their dogs, and this is important as we'll see Kane has a sympathy for them since dogs are the descendant of wolves. And a great example of that is in his mansion itself, where there's a very interesting secret. In the bathroom, you'll find this toilet paper dispenser, and just by taking a quick look at its design, I don't think I need to explain anything more here. But in another room of that mansion, the dog Easter eggs continue. You can find displays of some golden dog toys showcasing Fletcher Kane's nature, and that's further backed up by a hidden award which he holds dear. If you take a closer look over at the mansion, you can spot the top dog award on a shelf, which either belongs to his dog henchman or himself. It also follows the design of gold V-Buck coins, which is pretty cool to see, but not nearly as cool as his wardrobe, where you'll see he has shirts of all the same color, which isn't nearly as good as his taste in movies, as even he has his own personal home cinema with a giant popcorn bucket, and it's even filled with different movie references. The ones you're going to be able to spot are the Horde Rush 5 and Night Creatures movies, some good old Fortnitemares classics. But the best secret of them all lies in the new mansion's basement. If you recall last season, there's a mysterious statue over at Lost Lake, and initially we thought this all went missing, but you can be surprised to find that it's actually still on the island. Near the vault inside of the basement, you can find it being displayed, meaning it's now the most prized possession of Fletcher Kane. But there is something new on the island that's missing, which is a teaser to a brand new skin. By exploring the new areas on the map, you'll sometimes come across a new missing poster, similar to the ones when Peely went missing back in Chapter 5, Season 1. This time though, it teases a brand new skin, a sheep, similar to the goat skin that we saw as a part of the Goat Simulator 3 collab. So you can expect it to arrive anytime soon. What could also be arriving soon is a collab no one saw coming, because last season we got dialogues from the Empress Mizuki NPC hinting at a dragon warrior. And many of you already know what I'm talking about, a Kung Fu Panda collab. Well, this season Epic went all out and added an even more direct reference to the iconic movie. If you visit the top of one of the mountains in the new biome, you can find a cherry blossom tree and a turtle statue, obviously referencing the iconic Master Oogway scene, so it's becoming more and more clear that a collab could actually be happening. And another thing that's happening soon is the excavations over at Shiny Shafts. While many entrances to the mines are currently blocked off by the rubble, excavations will begin soon, making sure that many of these entrances become available, so that's something to look forward to. And at these excavations, you can also find another pretty cool Easter egg. If you simply take a look around at all the machines there, you won't help but notice that there's a small robot similar to the ones that are all over the Chapter 6 map, playing with one of the excavators. And another robot though doesn't seem to be having nearly as much fun as the one over at the excavation site. This one can be found in one of the new landmarks called Predator Outlook, and it's being eaten by a wolf statue. Knowing Epic, it's probably a mini storyline waiting to be resolved in a future update, so keep your eyes peeled. Something that might have caught your attention though is a reference to one of the most iconic video games of all time. In Crime City, you can find a new advertisement for 2 plumbers that supposedly help clean up your crimes easy. However, their designs are awfully similar to those of Mario and Luigi from Super Mario Bros, making this one of the very rare occasions where a Nintendo game has been referenced in Fortnite. And we could only hope that this means an actual collab could happen one day in the future. Speaking of iconic game references, dedicated Epic Games fans will be delighted to notice this Easter egg found in Crime City. In the new arcade shop, there's many different arcade machines that reference popular Epic Games titles like Jazz Jackrabbit, Paragon, and even a Save the World mock-up titled as an Epic Classic. And yeah, that one feels bad as Epic could have directly mentioned Save the World, so this might hurt some fans, but it definitely looks like an official hope for the revival of the mode might be gone. Something else gone though is a stolen relic over at Masked Meadows. You might remember last season where there was supposedly a very dangerous mask held over at Daigo's mask shop. If you go there now, it's nowhere to be found, leaving many to believe that this could be important in the storyline of the season. And speaking of Daigo, many people wondered what would become of the Spirit Realm portal that was left behind after the event took place. It looks like we actually have an answer for that, as it's no longer working and it seems to have been completely broken with the addition of the new golden vial. Not all is broken though, as in the island some things have been repaired just in time. Last season we saw the intense destruction of the Shining Span POI due to Godzilla's attack. And after the event was over, it slowly began to reconstruct. Well, now with season 2, it's back in its former glory. Just wait until you see this reference though, because Fortnite yet again has added an Easter egg to not one but 2 very iconic movie scenes. You may recall back in Fortnite Wilds when we got an emote that directly referenced the infamous Leonardo DiCaprio scene from the movie The Great Gatsby. And now if you take a close look at some paintings in the new Lone Wolf layer, you can see that 2 of Fletcher Kane's paintings are yet again referencing the scene. And there's also another one from the movie Django, which is really cool to see. What definitely isn't cool though is Fortnite's most recent changing gameplay, charging for almost anything in the game with bars. In a season like this, greed has definitely increased around the island, and you can actually see that by attempting to use a porta potty, because it now requires spending gold in order to do so. I mean, it's only fair with so much gold around the map that you have to use it somewhere. And speaking of all that gold, when exploring different corners of Crime City, you might come across an interesting sign. Trying to catch your attention is a big one that reads free gold. So naturally, many players suspected it could be a trap, but nothing happens when you follow it. So many think this was a missed opportunity by Epic to add a spot that instantly eliminates you. What Epic didn't miss though was an opportunity to reference another chapter. I'm sure Chapter 4 Season 4 fans know what I'm talking about, and it's a reference to the last heist season that we experienced. In Fortnite Last Resort, found all around Kato Thorne's different mansions were small eclipse themed props, and would you look at that, in the newest heist theme season these have returned in all kinds of different places. The references don't end there though, as arguably the season's highlight are the hidden Easter eggs related to Subzero. Dedicated Mortal Kombat fans will surely notice this one found within an emote in the current battle pass. At first this one might look like a regular emote until you realize that it's actually taken directly from Mortal Kombat 1. And it gets even better because there's another secret with this specific emote. In Mortal Kombat 1 you can see that the ice cream fridge has a little scorpion figure on it, devastated by the loss of his ice cream. But now if you look at the emote in Fortnite, you won't help but notice that he actually now has his ice cream back, which is pretty heartwarming. And not nearly as warm though are Sub-Zero's gauntlets that grant you an advantage if you know how to use these correctly. There's a neat detail where you can actually use them to run on water, as it freezes whenever you take a step, similar to Nitro from Chapter 5 Season 3, so you gotta give it to Epic for adding such attention to detail. And their attention to detail continues with some rather interesting paintings found in the new season. Let me explain, because in an office in Crime City you can find some new works of art that showcase a very disturbing image of a llama, a little bit bigger than it usually is, and there's even some interesting sketches of Peely without his skin. Yeah, I have no idea what Epic was thinking with these. However, we know exactly what Fortnite was thinking with a different reference, because it continues one from last season. While wandering around the cherry blossoms of the Chapter 6 map, you surely must have come across a toilet just standing there in the middle of nowhere, which is actually a nod to one of the episodes of Rick and Morty. Well, this season Epic took this reference another step further and even added a new TV next to it, so its users can not only enjoy the view but also watch some good old-fashioned television. Something else very fashionable though is this season you may have a chance to make the best combo thanks to a battle pass reference. If you take a look at Fletcher Kane's Wolf Glider, you may notice that it's really similar to actually an old skin from the Fortnite crew, which was the Burning Wolf. The two almost look identical, so if you pair them together, you'll definitely be landing on the map in style. And speaking of styles, we already have an early look at a secret style for the new Midas skin in the battle pass, which is also a reference to a Marvel character. Let me explain. There's currently a loaded loading screen that shows Outlaw Midas in what seems to be his second style, a full-on cowboy outfit. But fans of Marvel have also noticed something very strange. In this loading screen, he looks a lot more like the actor Tom Hiddleston, the actor of Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's led many to wonder whether it was actually intentional or not. But another secret reveals how the original Outlaw Midas was meant to look in the first place. There's this leaked spray which shows the Outlaw Midas skin, but look closely and you'll see that his hair was actually supposed to have gray streaks in it, meaning it's an older Midas, but it's obviously changed, similar to how the original Midas skin changed, because he was supposed to have glasses, but that was also changed with the launch of Chapter 2 Season 2 when he first came out, so I guess Epic loves their last minute changes. And what they also love doing is adding incredibly accurate references to the real world, and this one's no exception, sort of. You can tell the Jaw skin is actually a chemist, and on top of her cone hat you can also find a chemical element which is actually slurp. Obviously slurp isn't an actual element in real life, but it's regardless awesome to see how they came up with this. Joss as a character though is inspired by a very old design, one specifically from Fortnite Save the World. That's right, many of the Save the World fans have come to notice that the Jaw skin has a lot of different similarities with the hero from Fortnite Alpha, from the cone to the logo in the shirt and also some other little details. This likely means the skin is a tribute to the original characters from the very first days of Fortnite Save the World's development. And another character from Outlaws actually has a hidden name. By now, everyone's familiar with the star of this season being none other than the new Big Dill character, who just dropped his newest single and even had beef with the rapper T-Pain himself. But a lot of people haven't yet realized that in his loading screen, its description reveals that his full name is actually Dillinger. Super random, I know. That's been secrets and Easter eggs in Fortnite's Mortal Kombat update. Like and subscribe for more.